Reading the title of this piece might lead someone to expect a detailed exploration of the nuances of intimate acts from experts, but that's not the direction we're taking here. Instead, this is about sharing affection with your partner in a way that is meaningful, attentive, and most importantly, centered on their desires and needs. It's about understanding the dynamics of giving and receiving within a relationship, how communication plays a pivotal role in fostering connection, especially when it comes to intimacy. Have you ever found yourself hoping for a particular gift on your birthday or at Christmas, perhaps even dropped subtle hints to those close to you about what you wanted, only to unwrap something entirely different when the moment arrived? It can be a confusing mix of feelings on one hand, gratitude because someone thought enough to give you something. On the other, a quiet disappointment because it's not quite what you had in mind. This situation creates a curious dance of appreciation and unspoken frustration that many of us have experienced at one point or another. The giver, motivated by their own perspective and preferences, might choose the present they personally like or think is appropriate without fully recognizing the recipient's true wishes. And once they've given the gift, there's an unspoken expectation for the receiver to be grateful and happy, even if the actual item misses the mark. This mismatch can create a subtle tension that neither party wants to acknowledge, leading to moments where both pretend everything is fine rather than addressing the underlying feeling that perhaps a different approach would have been better. This dynamic, while common in the context of gift-giving, is also an illuminating metaphor for how couples often navigate moments of intimacy. In affectionate relationships, especially those evolving over time, there can be a tendency to assume what the other partner wants, sometimes without asking or truly listening. Those assumptions can lead to moments where one person gives affection in a way they find comfortable or enjoyable, but it may not align perfectly with what the other partner truly desires. The result can be a kind of quiet disconnect where one is trying to please while the other might be silently wishing for something slightly different. Back in the 1970s, when we were in our early 20s, dating was a completely different experience for us. We were not practicing Christians at the time, and our approach to intimacy was influenced by the cultural shifts and freedoms of that era. For us, being young and full of energy and hormones made every exploration a thrilling adventure. There was a sense of spontaneity and excitement. Affection was something shared openly and enthusiastically. Privacy was not always a priority, and we found ourselves expressing intimacy in a way that felt natural and unrestrained, often in places that today might feel a little daring or unconventional. I vividly recall the joy and satisfaction that came from those early experiences. The sense of giving pleasure and receiving it in return created a feedback loop of happiness and connection. When I was able to bring my partner satisfaction with my affection, it boosted my confidence and deepened our bond. The same was true for him when he responded to my needs and desires in kind. In those moments, everything felt harmonious and right with the world. However, as time went by, we began to discover that not every way of expressing affection was equally enjoyable for both of us. There were certain gestures or acts that one of us found uncomfortable or less satisfying. Instead of forcing these moments, it became natural for us to gradually shift the patterns of our intimacy, focusing on what felt good and avoiding what didn't. This gradual adjustment is a common experience in relationships as we learn more about each other. We fine-tune how we express closeness in a way that nurtures both partners. This process highlighted the importance of communication, clear, honest, and ongoing conversations about what feels good, what doesn't, and what either of us might want to explore further. Sexual and affectionate communication isn't just about speaking up. It's also about truly listening, being open to feedback, and adapting with love and patience. In essence, it means prioritizing our partner's happiness and satisfaction, not just our comfort or assumptions. Giving affection this way, tailored and responsive, is an act of generosity. It reflects a deeper understanding that intimacy isn't about keeping score or expecting something in return, but about offering a gift of pleasure and connection to someone you deeply care about. The joy of giving can often surpass the joy of receiving because it shows how much you value your partner's experience and happiness. We both agree that one of the most thrilling aspects of intimacy is being able to respond spontaneously to what our partner enjoys, without the pressure of immediate reciprocation. Those moments when you are fully present, focused on pleasing your loved one. create powerful bonds that resonate far beyond the physical world. Looking back, we recognize that it's a mistake to approach intimacy with the mindset that we already know everything there is to know. Relationships evolve, people change, and what excites or comforts us can shift over time. Expecting your partner to remain satisfied with the same patterns or refusing to adapt risks creating distance rather than closeness. Over the years, life brought us marriage, children, homes, careers, and the common challenges that can clutter our schedules and sap our energy, all the things that sometimes steal privacy and dampen intimate moments. Along the way, we also embraced our faith and became practicing Christians, which added another layer of considerations around what felt right, acceptable, or appropriate in our relationship. We encountered diverse and sometimes conflicting opinions from friends, mentors, and within our faith community regarding intimacy and what was deemed acceptable. Some of these voices brought confusion rather than clarity, especially when they discouraged honest communication or exploration within marriage. We also knew couples who struggled deeply, women who found certain acts distasteful to the point of ceasing intimacy altogether, and men who felt discouraged and unwanted because they felt unable to meet their partner's needs. This reality underscored a vital truth. Marriage is a monogamous relationship, and that includes the sexual and affectionate dimensions. Your spouse looks to you exclusively for that connection, and when one partner withdraws or refuses to engage, it can sow seeds of dissatisfaction and hurt. Ignoring your partner's needs risks opening the door to emotional distance or even betrayal. Ultimately, it is both partners' responsibility to give willingly, not what they want to give, just for their own comfort or satisfaction, but what the other truly needs to feel loved and fulfilled. This requires a spirit of mutual cooperation, patience, and deliberate effort to keep the lines of communication open and honest. Our own journey toward a healthier, more satisfying intimate life came through what we like to call our affection revolution. It was a process of breaking down assumptions, building trust, and sharing our genuine desires openly. This revolution wasn't easy, but it brought with it greater joy, deeper connection, and more vibrant expression of love. In the end, the gift of affection, like the best gifts we've ever received, comes from listening carefully, tuning in to what your partner truly wants, and being willing to give generously without expectation. When we center our actions on their pleasure and happiness, intimacy becomes not just a physical act, but a profound exchange of love that strengthens the foundation of our relationship in wonderful and lasting ways. There is something incredibly thrilling about being able to share moments of affection with your partner in a spontaneous and genuine way, especially when it's clear that the effort is exactly what they want and need. The joy comes not only from giving, but from truly seeing the pleasure and happiness it brings to the person you love. That kind of selfless sharing is a powerful force in any intimate relationship. Often, such moments happen unexpectedly when one partner is fully focused on bringing joy to the other without any expectation or pressure to receive the same in return. And yet, these gestures frequently spark a cycle of mutual enjoyment, deepening the bond between two people. There have been times when the intensity of connection during intimate moments is so strong that it moves us physically, almost instinctively. For example, one partner might be lying comfortably while the other offers affection, and the one receiving pleasure becomes so immersed in the experience that subtle movements and rhythms naturally emerge, movements driven purely by excitement and desire to give back or show appreciation. These are moments of profound connection that demonstrate how giving pleasure can be just as exhilarating as receiving it. One of the biggest mistakes people make in their sex lives is to enter intimate encounters with the arrogance of believing they already know everything about what pleases their partner, and therefore assume no further communication or adjustment is necessary. Worse yet is the expectation that your partner should be content forever with whatever you offer without dialogue or effort to grow together. Such attitudes often lead to stagnation or dissatisfaction. Relationships evolve, desires shift, and what once worked perfectly can lose its charm without continued attention and care. As life unfolds, we all experience how responsibilities accumulate: marriage, children, careers, financial pressures, all of which can crowd out privacy and diminish sexual intimacy. The daily routine and stressors tend to place emotional and physical distance between partners if they don't intentionally nurture their connection. This reality is something all couples face at some point. For us, the journey included joining a church and embracing our faith as practicing Christians, which brought additional perspectives to consider around intimacy and moral boundaries. Within any community, there can be a wide range of opinions, some helpful and others perhaps confusing or restrictive, especially when it comes to matters of sexuality. We have witnessed firsthand how these external opinions have affected couples. Some women, overwhelmed or uncomfortable with certain aspects of giving affection, have retreated completely, even ceasing intimacy with their husbands. Meanwhile, some men have faced feelings of rejection and confusion, not understanding why their efforts don't seem to satisfy their wives. These experiences emphasize how vital, honest, compassionate conversations are within marriages surrounding physical and emotional needs. Marriage is a unique commitment in that it is monogamous not only in partnership, but also in its intimate expressions. This exclusivity means that your spouse is the one person you can count on for emotional closeness and physical satisfaction, making your role in meeting those needs incredibly important. When one partner withdraws or refuses to engage in fulfilling these essential bonds, it can foster feelings of neglect or loneliness and create fertile ground for thoughts that threaten the relationship's foundation, such as infidelity or emotional detachment. Responsibility rests on both partners equally. It's imperative each chooses to give not just what they personally want to offer, but what the other genuinely needs. This mutual cooperation requires ongoing openness, empathy, and sometimes stepping outside of personal comfort zones to discover what truly delights your spouse. The health of intimate connection can flourish only when both people are actively involved in understanding and responding to each other's desires. Our own experience with what we call a sexual revolution in our marriage was born out of this very principle. Through deliberate and honest communication, we dismantled assumptions and prejudices about what pleasure should look like, learning to appreciate and respond to one another's unique preferences. This revolution wasn't a one-time event, but an ongoing process that demanded patience, curiosity, and vulnerability. Yet it opened the door to a more vibrant and satisfying relationship that continues to grow. Ultimately, sharing affection and pleasure becomes a powerful language between partners, a language that strengthens trust, deepens love, and maintains intimacy through life's many phases and challenges. It highlights that the greatest joy often lies not in what we receive, but in the gift of giving something that truly matters to the person we cherish most. Our journey toward deeper intimacy and satisfaction in marriage revealed a crucial truth. Honest and open communication is the foundation for a fulfilling sexual relationship. What we like to call our affection revolution didn't come easily. It required breaking down barriers, abandoning assumptions, and embracing vulnerability. This revolution began when we realized that many people, especially during courtship, withhold parts of themselves in an attempt to impress or avoid judgment. It's a common experience to hold back desires or preferences out of fear that the other person might think poorly of us. We want to be accepted, loved, and seen as good partners, so we keep certain things quiet, burying our true feelings for the hope that someday, after marriage, we can explore what really turns us on. Unfortunately, this leads to hidden frustrations and unvoiced needs that can quietly erode intimacy over time. In many Christian marriages, these challenges are even more pronounced. Cultural and religious expectations sometimes label certain desires or preferences as unchristian or inappropriate, which discourages couples from openly discussing what they truly want. This spiritual pressure can create walls that prevent honest communication and exploration, leaving partners guessing about each other's needs or assuming that expressing certain wishes is wrong. Still, the heart of a thriving intimate relationship is a shared willingness to talk openly and without judgment. One of the biggest mistakes couples make is assuming they know what's best for each other without asking. Sexual intimacy doesn't have to follow a rigid script or only happen in predictable places like a bedroom at home. In fact, it can be a thrilling and exciting experience to share affection almost anywhere where you can carve out moments of privacy or spontaneity, whether it's a hidden corner during a park visit or sneaking away at a social gathering. Embracing flexibility and adventure can bring freshness to your connection. But none of this works unless both partners are willing to be honest with themselves and each other. Sharing desires and boundaries is not always comfortable, but it's necessary. This includes being truthful about what feels good, what doesn't, and what you might want to try even if it seems unconventional or out of your comfort zone at first. It also means being respectful if the other person says no or needs time to consider new experiences. At the core, sexual communication is a dialogue, not a monologue. It involves not only expressing yourself clearly, but also listening deeply and responding with empathy and care. By approaching intimacy as a cooperative exploration rather than a performance or obligation, couples create a safe space where trust can flourish and satisfaction deepens. It's important to remember that intimacy is not static. What you enjoy or need today might change tomorrow. Life seasons bring physical changes, emotional growth, and shifting circumstances, and keeping communication open allows your relationship to adapt and thrive despite these shifts. For couples just starting out or those who have been together for decades, the invitation remains the same. Be curious about each other, be willing to share without shame, and embrace the beautiful complexity of your shared pleasure. When honest communication becomes the norm rather than the exception, intimacy transforms from a source of anxiety or routine into a joyful and enriching experience that continually strengthens the bond between partners. When it comes to sharing intimate affection with a woman, understanding the art of bringing her to a place of deep pleasure is both a wonderful and rewarding pursuit. The focus often centers on a sensitive spot that many people are familiar with, yet true fulfillment comes from paying attention to every part of her, including the entire area around that sensitive center, as well as her inner thighs and pelvis. These areas respond beautifully to soft, sensual kisses and gentle touches that communicate care, attention, and desire. One of the things I had to learn and convey to my husband was the experience many women have of approaching climax, only to feel it slip away, sometimes multiple times during one intimate moment. This can be incredibly frustrating and can cause a woman to feel discouraged. It's important that the partner understands this back and forth rhythm and keeps patience and enthusiasm strong. When both people stay focused and connected, the final experience can be incredibly powerful and satisfying. In modern terms, this approach is often called edging, where someone brings themselves close to climax and then intentionally holds back to build a more intense release later. While this is common for women, it happens to men at times as well. Communication during these moments is essential. Simple phrases like, "That's perfect, don't change a thing." Let your partner know exactly what feels best. Likewise, responding to sounds and cues such as moans, whispers, and cries reinforces confidence and enjoyment. Sometimes, verbal instructions like, "Softer," "A little harder," or "Move your tongue lower," help guide the experience to a better place. Women appreciate not only oral attention, but also gentle stimulation with fingers placed carefully in specific ways. For example, palm up. Fingers slightly curved, pressing inside the pelvic area can create sensations that, when combined with oral affection, bring many women profound pleasure and unforgettable climaxes. Open legs, sensitive skin, inner thighs, and the whole vulva area are deserving of attention. These spaces respond differently in each person, so discovering what your partner enjoys most is part of the intimate journey. For many women, this exploration extends beyond just their vulva. The use of extra touches, positions, and sometimes introducing toys can add new dimensions to pleasure, provided both partners are enthusiastic and comfortable. Further explorations might include the anal area, approached with care, cleanliness, and strong communication. Some women find that gentle, well-lubricated touch there can add new layers of sensation and deepen orgasmic experiences. This requires mutual trust and clear consent, and is not something to rush into, but rather explore when both partners feel ready. When a couple fosters honesty and openness, they create a safe environment where trying new things becomes an adventure rather than a source of anxiety. Sometimes a woman might feel insatiable, desiring multiple climaxes in one session, and this leads to moments of holding tightly to her partner, grinding, moaning, and even whispering sweet or playful words. Other times, after a certain peak, she may need support to reach yet another climax, a helping hand on the hips. A gentle pull or rhythm changes can bring her back into desire again. Of course, not every woman likes or desires the same things. Personal preferences vary widely, and those must be respected at all times. This ongoing dialogue about desires and boundaries is essential. Discovering what brings the greatest pleasure means trying, listening, asking, and adapting. The freedom to express yourself verbally and through body language helps partners learn what works best. Sometimes, the sensations that women find most pleasurable come from a combination of oral attention and well-placed finger movements. Coordinating these can lead to some of the most intense experiences imaginable. This process takes time, patience, and practice, but ultimately strengthens intimacy and connection. Recognizing and responding to your partner's cues, vocal or physical, builds confidence and excitement that radiates through the entire relationship. Whether gentle or vigorous, soft or strong, slow or fast, these variations become part of the shared language of pleasure. When a woman experiences an amazing climax with her husband or partner, it often leads to a desire for more, fueling a cycle of excitement and satisfaction that benefits both people. At times, this can even mean multiple climaxes within a single encounter, not necessarily all through oral affection, but through a combination of acts and positions over an extended period of intimacy. The physicality of such moments can be intense and all-encompassing, with partners entwined in close connection, voices rising and falling in pleasure. Even when exhausted, the emotional closeness created tends to leave both feeling fulfilled and closer than ever. This level of satisfaction requires collaboration, a willingness to explore and communicate, trying new things together while honoring each other's comfort levels. Intimacy becomes a joyful and creative exchange, deepening love and trust. The nurturing of this shared experience helps sustain the relationship through life's changes and challenges, and keeps the flame alive long after the early days of passion. Whether it's through gentle kisses on the inner thighs, rhythmic movements of the tongue, or tender finger pressures, understanding female pleasure involves a genuine desire to connect beyond the physical, to listen and respond fully. This attention to detail transforms ordinary moments into extraordinary ones and keeps intimacy vibrant and rewarding for both partners. As men age, natural changes occur that affect their bodies and the ways they experience pleasure. Understanding and adapting to these changes together is an essential part of maintaining intimacy in a long-lasting relationship. It's important for a wife not to assume that any shift in her partner's responses or the way he enjoys affection is a reflection of her own actions. Instead, these changes are often simply part of the natural journey of life, and every man experiences them differently. Openness and communication become vital to help navigate this evolving landscape of desire and fulfillment. One valuable insight we've learned over time is that pleasure for men isn't just about direct stimulation of the genital area. Many men respond positively to tenderness and attention paid to other parts of their bodies, such as their chest or nipples. Lightly pinching or kissing these areas during moments of intimacy can heighten arousal and deepen connection. Additionally, for some men, exploring prostate stimulation adds a whole new dimension of pleasure. This practice, which involves gentle, careful massage of the prostate gland, can intensify orgasms and bring about sensations that are both deeply relaxing and exhilarating. Of course, engaging in this kind of exploration requires mutual trust, communication, and hygiene to ensure comfort and safety. We have found that when he feels clean and comfortable, I am happy to participate in this experience with him, enhancing our closeness and shared pleasure. There's something quite intimate about inching beyond traditional boundaries of affection to discover what truly delights your partner. The physical sensations involved, like softly tickling the area around his sphincter with the tongue, can evoke a mix of vulnerability and excitement, strengthening the trust between us. Eye contact during these moments increases the emotional intensity, reminding us how deeply connected we are as we share pleasure. Over time, we have noticed that it takes longer for my husband to reach climax than it did when we were younger. While this might initially seem like a challenge, the upside is that the pleasure and intensity he experiences now are often far greater and more satisfying than before. These extended moments of intimacy give us more time to explore different sensations, rhythms, and positions, making our encounters richer and more varied. Giving oral affection can be physically demanding. After a period, the mouth, lips, and jaw can become tired, especially during lengthy sessions. We've learned that combining oral affection with manual stimulation gives necessary breaks without losing the momentum or intimacy of the moment. For example, Stroking his genitals with your hand while simultaneously engaging with your mouth allows for a wonderful symphony of sensation. This approach helps to maintain steady arousal and keeps the experience pleasurable for both partners. Incorporating gentle finger touches, nipple pinching, or prostate massage during these times adds layers of stimulation that heighten excitement and contribute to a fulfilling experience. One particularly sensitive area on the underside of the penis is called the frenulum. This small band of tissue is highly responsive to gentle touch, whether stroked with the thumb, licked, or gently sucked. Paying attention to this spot can make a significant difference in the quality of orgasm for many men. My husband has shared that a coordinated effort where you stroke the shaft rhythmically with your hand in sync with oral stimulation creates a pleasure that is unmatched. Sucking with a genuine, gentle suction rather than simply holding the penis in the mouth intensifies the sensations and builds anticipation. The position of the fingers also matters. Wrapping them tightly around the base or near the testicles without squeezing helps to channel sensation and adds a feeling of fullness. Applying a good amount of lubrication enhances all of these touches, making movement smooth and comfortable. It can also help when gently milking the skin of the scrotum, a soothing and pleasurable action that many men enjoy. Beyond the physical techniques, the connection between partners is what truly elevates the experience. Looking into your partner's eyes while you give affection can create a profound sense of intimacy and emotional bonding. Sharing smiles, nods, or whispers as the pleasure builds strengthens trust and allows for real-time feedback. Being attentive to his reactions, both verbal and nonverbal, helps you gauge what works best in the moment. There's a special magic that happens when two people are fully present to each other in such vulnerable moments. Throughout our years together, sharing this kind of intimate pleasure has deepened not only our physical connection, but also our emotional closeness. It has helped us navigate the challenges of aging, health fluctuations, and life's busy demands. Even on days when exhaustion or stress threaten to dampen desire, the foundation of understanding and mutual care keeps the door open for closeness and joy. We share these insights with the hope that other couples might find encouragement and inspiration in their own journeys. Learning what delights your partner, being willing to try new things, and maintaining open, loving communication can transform intimacy into a rich, fulfilling part of married life, no matter your age. Ultimately, the shared exploration of pleasure is a beautiful expression of love, trust, and commitment that keeps the flame burning bright throughout the years.